Hype check number 2, Mortal Kombat 11. And there hasn't been a lot of MK11 on the channel. And I think I do want to make a second video on that because the development of violent video games, much less Mortal Kombat in general, on YouTube especially, has changed a lot. Even from the last time I made a video on it back when MK11 came out, when we were like, what's gonna happen to being a content creator that focuses on Mortal Kombat? Because there's a lot of content creators that focus on MK, that focus on NRS games specifically. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's got one of the biggest audiences. It's amazing. So I want to talk about my overall feelings on Mortal Kombat 11. That's the point of Hype Check, what I feel about the game currently, and where we're at right now, because we're getting to multiple DLC seasons. One of the most anticipated characters I've ever had for a fighting game, which is Spawn, is going to be coming out early 2020, and Spawn is like a dream come true character. Like, ever since Soul Calibur 2, I've wanted him to come back. So that's important for me. However, MKX already fulfilled some pretty big dream come true material with Predator and Alien, and those characters are very fun and very frustrating to fight against. So let's talk about Mortal Kombat 11. What happened with this game and my own feelings about it, I hate to scratch my own back here, but my batting average is pretty good. It's exactly what I thought would happen. At the first reveal event for MK11, we got an opportunity to play the game. I got about 2.5 hours to play Mortal Kombat 11 at the very, very first reveal event before anyone knew what the gameplay was going to be like. And my initial reaction after leaving, after playing for that entire time and talking to other people that had been playing, I'm like, so did you guys find any cool stuff? Did you find any crazy combos, or is there any interesting like mechanics that led to some like hype stuff, or was it very simple? And a lot of everyone was saying the same thing. It seemed very simple. It seemed like the characters can do a lot less than they did in the previous games. And that seemed to be by design. The more I talked to developers, the more they were like, we want the game to feel like Mortal Kombat 2. We want it to be sort of a resurrection of Mortal Kombat 2. So immediately, I knew a lot of people weren't happy with MKX, like gameplay-wise. I think MKX was kind of a stifling game. It had some crazy shit in it, and it was kind of a bonkers fighting game. But even in that very, very early state of Mortal Kombat 11, 4 months before the game was even out, it just felt very limited. Yes, safe is a good word. Safe is a wonderful word. Felt very safe. I knew the game was going to be polarizing. I knew you were going to get people that liked the MK9/MKX versions of Mortal Kombat. Completely honest, Mortal Kombat had been setting up since UMK3. All the games are kind of nutty. And now they want to go for a more reserved, less mobile version of Mortal Kombat. And I'm like, you know what? People are gonna love the shit out of this. The weaving in and out, the sweeping, the uppercutting, like, classic ass Mortal Kombat. People are gonna love this shit. Not everybody. Some people are gonna miss the fact that MK has been a crazy ass fighting game in the past. Has kind of always had elements that make it a bit bonkers, which I appreciated. I kind of appreciated that MK did have some crazy ass busted characters, and that was just the nature of NetherRealm Studios. But it felt like some of those characters had some really clever shit they could do. Like, for example, Jason in MKX is just amazing. Like, he can do all this, 3 variations that have all this shit. Like, every single version of the Predator plays completely different than the others. Takeda, like, my main character in MKX, and I played Lasher maybe twice, but I had so much fun with Shirai Ryu and freaking lightsabers that I didn't care, man. I just always had fun, and it felt like there was always challenging shit that I could do. So it was kind of weird that MK11 was going to come out and be much different gameplay-wise than MKX, but I was just hoping that some things were going to change. In the beta, there was some interesting stuff. The way that you could sort of stack these crushing blows, that you could start a combo and on punish, the crushing blow could be saved for certain points. It was a unique thing in the beta that allowed for crazy damaging combos. Like, we're talking, I think I saw Baraka do like a 95% damage combo in the beta, and it was nuts. And I was like, man, if you get all the other variations, is there gonna be even more? Maybe that's where the insane shit is gonna be in this game. Maybe that's where it is. And then they took that out. And then that thing that was seeming to be kind of, oh, this will open up for a lot of possibilities. This might actually end up being a lot of fun. That got taken away. So I was like, uh-oh, my brain immediately went to Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V had a very similar situation. The betas were very fun. There was a lot of stuff the characters can do. They had interesting paths of figuring out how you open people up and convert combo damage and then, you know, set people up with stuff. And there was a big moment in the betas of these games that were just like, nope, yo, hold on a second. Maybe that's too good. And then they took it away. That's why I'm a little nervous when fighting games get betas. It's like, oh man, we found this really cool thing and it's gone. Was it incredibly broken? Well, not really. You could do it maybe once. It didn't seem like it was going to be super broken. We're having too much fun. So either way, there's still some interesting stuff that characters can do. Like, there's still interesting optimized combos that characters get in Mortal Kombat 11. But the big one for me was, like, I was having to play the game. Like, be very focused that I can't go nutty in this game. If you're playing certain characters, you can't go nutty. If you're playing some characters, you can just be a goddamn mental patient, just running in on people and stuff. But not everyone gets that opportunity. I will say, Mortal Kombat 11, I think, is the highest visual fidelity fighting game of all time. And that's coming right off saying I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is the best looking fighting game of all time because it has the best execution. Mortal Kombat 11 on a frame-by-frame basis where you actually look at the quality of the character models, the backgrounds, the effects, like the X-rays, everything, like the lighting. MK11 looks so good. I cannot believe that within 5 years of Injustice 1 and Mortal Kombat 11 looking the way they do? What? Like, and it's the same people on the art side of the studio. It's the same production guys. Like that's crazy. Animations got better. Like, the animations aren't incredible by any means, and some stuff is still a little wonky. But you can't say that this is a bad looking fighting game by any means. Mortal Kombat 11 is easily some of the highest production values of any fighting game I've ever seen. And we're talking about AAA fighting games. There's only truly a couple of them out there that I think can visually hold up and make people really happy. Number one is Smash Brothers. Feels like it has a budget. Characters have been done some pretty good justice, and it all comes off looking very good. Mortal Kombat 11 and even Injustice 2, I think, are decent examples of that too. Has a decent amount of budget behind it, has some pretty damn good production values, and my god, man, the characters look amazing. Things just look so damn cool. But it's been very weird to see the gameplay stuff toned down. The same thing I said with Dragon Ball FighterZ when it comes to these games and how aspects of them go away. Like, visuals of fighting games start to go away after you start picking at the fighting game. You have to, that's why I like to leave a fighting game every once in a while, to not play it for 3 to 6 months, right? Not play it for a year. I'll come back to play Third Strike after 9 months, and I haven't played Third Strike, my favorite fighting game of all time, in nearly a year. And I'll come back and I'll be reminded of how much shit I love about Third Strike. I won't just be frustrated that I gotta fight Chun-Li. I'll be reminded how cool the music is, how gorgeous it looks, how fluid the animations are, all the characters hit and collide, and the way a parry feels, like the way everything just marries itself for the final product when that hits your eyes and it feel it in your hands, on the stick, on the screen. I'm reminded how much I love Third Strike. And that's the thing with fighting games that I can learn to appreciate every once in a while coming back to it. Even when Terminator came out for Mortal Kombat 11, I think I had the most fun playing as Terminator than I had playing MK11 since it first came out. I played Shang Tsung and I was like, okay, well, the ninja stuff kind of sucks. Like, well, seems like he's gonna be good, but he doesn't really feel like a character for me. Arnie comes out, and I'm actually having kind of a fun time. I kind of learned that Mortal Kombat 11 I don't think is gonna change. I think it's not going to be MKX. It's not gonna be MK9. It was their plan to make this game a more simple, focused, grounded footsie fighting game, but I put that up with damn air quotes because you're never going to turn Mortal Kombat into grounded footsies. I'm going to throw this out there right now. People have said in the past and a few times, footsies are glorified horse shit. If you want a footsie-only fighting game just to focus on footsies, I don't like the glorification of fighting games that are just footsies. In the situations where Mortal Kombat 11 was literally promoted as being a footsie-based fighting game, it's not. Like, at high level, it's absolutely not. It's a 50-50 fest where characters do their best to avoid the footsies, because some characters are designed around the footsies. But it's obvious that the footsies aren't a thing that you have to worry about if you play certain characters. Long story short, I think it's hard to make a fighting game that is just focused on, like, grounded-based footsies while still offering, like, other mechanics and shit like that. I think that's a difficult thing to do. I think it was interesting that Mortal Kombat, of all games, was to try that, but another fighting game tried to do a very, very similar thing, and that was Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V wanted to be a more grounded, footsie-based, focused fighting game. And what do you get? Grounded, slide full screen into V-Trigger, make that shit safe, do a bunch of V-Trigger shit that's absolutely safe, unga bunga the shit out of you with Karen. Like, every time these games try to go for a grounded, focused footsie, I can't react to dashes, like, it doesn't work out. I feel the only fighting game that has executed proper grounded footsies, and it's been doing it for a very long time, is Tekken. And we'll talk about Tekken in full for another episode of Hype Check, but I think for all these efforts of fighting games that kind of had like a lot of stuff mechanically that they are taking down to some more focus on the core gameplay. It hasn't worked out. People always find a way to break that shit because that is the nature of fighting game players. They will break that shit. I don't want to have to just constantly be at the same pace with you. Fighting game players want to be on the advantage as much as possible. Why would they force themselves into mechanics and gameplay designs that other characters have to play if they don't have to abide to it? Hell no! I need to win the money! That's the way fighting games work. People are here to break shit. But Tekken takes footsies, like the most basic aspect of it, right? Most basic aspect of footsies, and then they're like, we're gonna make one of the hardest things to do in the entire game revolving around footsies. Moving backwards and moving forwards. One of the hardest things to do in the entire game, consistently. And that's gonna be our footsies. So that's kind of interesting. There's a high level to that. My big thing with MK11, and I've noticed it watching tournaments, I watch a lot of other players, and that's a big thing. I'll go to other players' channels and be like, hey, this dude is playing Noob Saibot, or this guy's playing a character that I play in something completely different. And I'll like sub to them, and I'll talk to them, and I'll pick their brain about the character and what's going on. I love doing that, because I'm in a situation where I don't have a wonderful luxury of playing the same game every day and just learning. So I gotta learn really fast, and I gotta find the stuff that's really good with the character and then try to execute that stuff. So I'll go to other streams, and with MK11, all I was seeing everybody doing, the highest level, the highest caliber players in the world that have played thousands, tens of thousands more hours than me, are doing the same shit I'm doing. It's just that they're better at the matchups. They're better at like avoiding shit. They're better at spacing what the thing is going to be. Chop into hit. There's no crazy like setup that seems impossible to get around. Most people were doing a lot of down ones and then grabbing a bitch. And that's just because that stuff is really good. Those are universal tools that just make everybody really good in the game. And it is impressive to see people tech throws. In Mortal Kombat 11, like you would never think that teching throws would be an impressive feat. But in the same way that I find people blocking in MKX really impressive, I find people teching throws in MK11 really impressive because they're both 50-50s. There's no way to know what the hell someone's gonna throw you. Like they could be a forward throw or a back throw. It is literally a fucking guess. But the fact that people guess right so many times consistently is like, whoa, what the hell? I like going to other fighting game streams and watching people play fighting games and being blown away that they found some cool shit. Or they're able to do this thing. Or they're able to do evil Ryu combos online. Like, I remember watching PR Rog in Street Fighter 4, and I didn't care about Street Fighter 4 at all, but to watch somebody actually execute one-frame Link evil Ryu combos in an online environment that is not good, it was like, jeez, what the hell is going on? It's crazy to me. Same thing like watching Smug play a character in Street Fighter 4 that is like notoriously difficult to play and just whooping ass with him because the combos are insane. It's not always about combos. It's the fact that you're looking at something that's impressive. You can immediately identify this shit is impressive. There are very few people that can pull this shit off. Like that's impressive. And I think one of the biggest challenges to me with MK is that I can do all the stuff that I see these people doing with very little practice. It's just, where do I put them? At what degree do I place them? That's the actual difficult part of MK11. It's not about how to do the moves, what to do what moves, how to land combos, anything like that. Anything that makes a normal traditional fighting games difficult. In MK11, it's about being reserved. It's about knowing when to just throw the thing out, knowing when to do some things. And that is impressive. It means you need to be in your opponent's head all the time, but it doesn't make me want to watch tournaments. It doesn't make me want to just like go out and check out to see what this Shirai Ryu Takeda player is doing in friggin' MKX. I thought that shit was dead. I thought everyone played Ronin, and then this Lasher guy comes out and I'm like, fuck, dude. Look at this shit. Like that aspect is really impressive to me. It's a thing that's beyond even the variation system of MK11. I don't think the variation system of MK11 could really fix this because there's a lot of special moves in MK11 that just seem like they're designed to be bad. And that was absolutely the case with MKX as well. But when you have a game that has even more limited moves the characters can do, it seems a little weird. I think it would help MK11 if the players were allowed to like pick their moves and whatnot, but you would obviously get the better shit. Like, someone's obviously gonna pick this combo extension. Someone's obviously gonna pick up this thing that'll just blow through this thing. That's just the way players work. So, I really had a lot of fun with Terminator. And I think it was because I was just accepting that, man, I'm gonna step on a dude's heel and bonk him in the head, and this bitch is gonna be able to react to it half the time. And that's funny. That's funny. I'm gonna activate armor and just walk at your ass because you can't stop me. That's funny. I think I can enjoy MK11 if I like don't take it seriously. And I was taking it seriously in those first few months at like a 90% win ratio or some stupid shit, but I wasn't having fun. I focused on just playing player matches, picking out whatever moves you want, and trying to find as much fun as I possibly can. And I never really found it with any of the core roster, because the core roster is obviously limited. This game chooses a very interesting set of characters, chooses a very interesting set of tools those characters can have, because the tools are kind of different than the previous games. And I think MK11, like I said, is going to be a fighting game that a lot of people are just going to love, because they don't have to worry about the variation stuff or the 50-50. Some people legit did not like that about the previous games. I get it. Like, I get that when I look in impressions of people talking about, like, I was disappointed with MK11, and then you see, like, the thread list pop up, and there's a ton of people that are like, dude, this game is great. Like, I love MK11. This game has all this stuff that is absolutely amazing. I can truly see why people think that, because sometimes dealing with all, like, the crazy bullshit in fighting games is a bit too much, and having to learn all the crazy bullshit in fighting games can feel like it's a bit daunting. And that doesn't feel like it's as much an issue in MK11. If I could reliably anti-air people, it might be a bit different. That's mostly about the gameplay aspect of it. I love the visuals. Like, what isn't there to love? It's honestly like the best looking fighting game of all time. The single player content though is a different story. Absolutely not a fan of the gear system. I think it's a downgrade from Injustice 2, which is unfortunate. There's less stuff you can do to customize your characters. You should just give me skins. Like, just give me skins. That would be easier to do than having these customization options of things I don't care to customize. The funny thing is, I don't even care too much about that anymore, because the only thing I cared about was brutalities. From the very start, all I cared about was unlocking brutalities, because that was gameplay. There was gameplay stuff in brutalities, man. So I wanted to get that, but now when Terminator comes out, I'm like, sick, what's his brutality? Oh shit, the towers. God! I have to remember that I have to go through tower stuff to get brutalities, and I just don't. I don't want to do that. They did just make skins. They've made skins for everyone in the game, but they're split up amongst a billion tiny things that you have to play for years in order to unlock. Like, you'd have to play forever to get that shit. I just like it to be a bit simpler. It felt like the game was aggressively trying to keep me in it. Like, mobile game levels of player retention and numbers, and we're gonna sell that to investors. It felt like that. Because I had a little bit of that in Injustice 2, but at least with Injustice 2, it was random, and I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to say. I just don't like this system. Injustice 2 system was wonky. I think this is even wonkier. Nah, like, can we just not? Can we give us other things to do single player wise? This is rough, man. This shit is rough. But lucky enough, one of the things that I never really had a big issue with in MK was the online. Ever since MKX, the online in these games is good. Wi-Fi is still a problem. People have really bad connections out there. So I don't think playing online should be much of an issue for anybody. Just try to play without Wi-Fi. I mean, if you have a good Wi-Fi connection with no one else connected to it, you're fine. But if you have the option to stick a damn Ethernet cord in there, do it! I think the reason people complain about Wi-Fi so much on this game and Smash Brothers is that Mortal Kombat and Smash have the largest casual appeal of all fighting games, in comparison to literally all of them. So what happens when you have your pros, not even pros, people that just know how to play the game and are playing the game, and are pretty good at it. And then you have, in most fighting games, casuals. It's like 3 to 4 times the size. You got like some casuals. In a game like Mortal Kombat or Smash, you got your pros and you got your fucking casual. There's so many people. So with that many people playing the game, you're bound to get a bunch of shitheads that have packet loss flying out their eyes. There's no way. Like, there's too many people. So that's bound to happen. That's why you always hear people complaining about Wi-Fi in Smash and Mortal Kombat, because people just have no fucking clue. I just play Mortal Kombat. Do I look at websites and streams? I don't even know what the internet is. I just play Mortal Kombat. Same shit with Smash. Same exact shit. They just play Smash online. Do they know any better? Absolutely not. Should they know better? Maybe. I don't know if there's much of a thing that can be resolved from that. It's just, I think Mortal Kombat's online is actually good. I think it is good. But I don't think their matchmaking is good, man. I think like the ranked stuff is an interesting take. I like the fact that MK got like a proper league in some way. I think that's cool. But the fact that I still can't search for connection parameters, I can't search by region, I can't do anything that I normally can do in like other fighting games is weird to me, man. I know that there's a billion people playing this game. I just want people with 5 bars. Like just. It's weird that I don't get that option. So that's a couple of things that I would like to see changed. And it's weird because they've been doing that forever. Like you can't search that stuff. Back in MKX, it was region locked because the game ran so terribly online. They knew that if you got matched up in some dude in another country, it was gonna run like shit. And they fixed the online. So there's no excuse anymore. I really wish that they would do something like that. Yeah, and you end up fighting the same people too. I can't tell you how many times I just fight the same person over and over and over again for no reason. Like, I don't get it. I wish fighting games would also give you an option. Regional matchmaking, close, far, any. There you go. Connection parameters, 1 bar or to 5 bars. All right. Wi-Fi, click or no click. Can allow that or not allow that. And last but not least, a little tick box, allow repeat players. Maybe if in the past 5 games, if I've played the same person, maybe I can tick a little box to not play them again within 5 games. That'd be cool. But then have a warning, if you're unable to find matches, do not tick this box, because in some situations, fighting games online don't have a huge player base, and having these restrictive options will mean that you're just not gonna find people. There's not enough people playing. But in games like fucking Smash Brothers and MK11, you're gonna find tons of people. There should be those options. I think that's my only gripe with the online of this game. Otherwise, I think they've killed it. Like, you gotta give it up. Like, I have gameplay grievances with MK11, but people love it. I have small issues with the game's online, but it runs really good online. Is it a fighting game that I want to come back to and get good at in the vein of, you know, some other ones? It's not. Do I want to come back and see if there's a character that compels me and is super fun? If Takeda came back, would I be excited? Absolutely. If Smoke came back, would I be excited? I would. Spawn coming out does have me excited. But at the same time, I'm a little concerned that they're gonna end up like some of the other characters where it doesn't feel like there's a lot of stuff I can do. I just want there to be a really, really fun character or set of characters that are just compelling. I like crazy gameplay stuff. MKX had a lot of crazy gameplay stuff in it, and I hope they take a little bit of risks. I hope this game lasts a bit longer than the previous NRS cycle. Right now, it seems they're just spreading out their DLC characters to 2 years instead of the usual little bit after a year. I hope that the XL version of this, that the Ultimate Pack or whatever the heck it is in 2020, has some fairly compelling gameplay changes that actually make the game interesting and a bit different, because that happened at the very tail end of MKX's life cycle. Remember the wake up things? You couldn't do wake up armor anymore. You had to spend 2 bars on that now to convert it. That was a good call. That actually changed some super like brain dead stuff into having to think about it now. I hope that happens in this game. I really do. I hope that some of the core mechanics like perfect blocking, if not the wake up system, gets more interesting and sort of compelling, and I have to make bigger trade-offs. I like high risks and high reward in my fighting games, and this one doesn't seem to have a lot of high risk, high reward. I think MK11 is actually a very good fighting game. I think it's a well constructed, made by people that have a lot of history. The individual elements are actually amazing by themselves, but something with NRS games, especially with Injustice 2 and now MK11, has become less interesting to me over time, where I found Injustice 1 and MKX to be super interesting. It's my biggest hope that, yeah, MK11 changes, but it's also my biggest hope that Injustice 3, in its eventuality, if they don't want to make the same game 3 times in a row, which is what they said about MK9 and MKX, it's my hope that Injustice 3 is a bonkers, crazy fighting game and not the type of laser fest that the previous games were. A lot of people are going to like MK11. I think it'll be fine competitively. I think there's a certain level of viewership that MKX had that MK11 doesn't have. And like I said earlier, I think the reason behind that is that it's hard to find like an expertise to watch. Like, I want to watch someone be the expert at this shit and to see shit that I don't do. And ultimately you realize after watching the people that are very good at MK11, they're doing the same shit you're doing. They're just way smarter, which is the case with a lot of fighting games, but at least they're better at 1-frame lengths and shit, so I have an excuse. So I have a lot of hopes for MK11. There's a lot of really cool characters that are going to be coming out soon, if not later, and potentially more updates and content that there's going to be in the game that any other MK has gotten before, which I think is awesome. I'm going to wait to hope that there's that one character that is super amazing to me. Noob was pretty cool. Noob was cool, but over time I got kind of bored of him. Let's hope that Spawn is atrociously good. Make that bitch busted. Fucking chains and magic and guns and wreck a character with 18 options? Ha! Give it to me, man. What if Joker's my Batgirl? Fuck it. I'll play Mike Matei. I don't give a shit.